Some schools are going to stay open. Some schools are going to be shut.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we live now?
Yeah, man.
All right, Shalom. This is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. Also, remember, check out Commanding General YAHANNA's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. UK time. Also, this class is in America, Tuesday through Friday. There's also classes Trinidad, Jamaica, all Canada. So just go on there for the schedule. Just go on Facebook or ISUPK.com for the schedule and so forth. Also, there's classes here. Monday we have the history class. That's in Birmingham. Tuesday we have the Brotherhood class, which is online. Wednesday we have the law class, which is here. Thursday the scripture breakdown class, and then Friday on the ends the radio show, and then Saturday the Sabbath service. So there's a lot of activities you can also log into. But because it's New Year's, that's what we're gonna go into today. How people are always saying New Year, new me, New Year, new me. And the thing is this, man. Everyone that said New Year, new me last year, 5 days into their New Year, they was doing the same thing what they was doing the last year, man. Like nothing changes. If you have to pick a day and say, all right, I'm gonna wait till this day to change, you ain't gonna change, man. You ain't gonna change if you have to pick a day like that. Change comes with what? You doing it right now, man. People always say, oh, my New Year's resolution. From someone says my New Year's resolution, we know that's a lie, man. We know that's not true, and we know you're not going to stick to it. Also, any questions, just type them in. So we're going to start from the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1.
The book of Exodus 20 and 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
So this is our God telling us he brought us out of the land of Egypt, man. This is what our God's telling us. The God of our fathers is telling us this, man. Not no white man's God, not no Chinese man's God, not no God of the New Year, not no Chinese New Year God. This is our God that delivered us out of Egypt. Read that one more time from the top.
Verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Listen, man, our God brought us out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. That's what our God did for us, man. You're trying to serve these other nations' gods who can't do nothing for them. Whose gods is what? Wood and stone and idols and all of those things. That's what you're bowing down to. You're worshipping them things, man. Like those things is real. Listen, man. You stand before these idols and say, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And the idol can't hear you, man. Why? It's got no ears. It can't see you. Why? It's got no eyes, man. It can't move. It can't do nothing for you. But what do? Worship it. Worship it. New Year, new me, which is what? Janus, which is the god of gateways and beginnings, man.
That's right.
That's what it is, man. The god of gateways and beginnings. So you do what? I'm trying to say, all right, then. This is the most people don't know that it's the so-called God of gateways and new beginnings. So you just hear what people's been doing for years. Like if you're black or Hispanic and you're celebrating it, maybe you don't know any better. You've just heard this is what people do. Oh, it's a new year. Black people used to say, what? Make sure your house is clean on the new year. Used to say, make sure your house is clean on the new year, so your house can be clean all year. 3 weeks in the house is filthy again, man. Listen, all that stuff doesn't work, man. Every year you celebrate New Year's, New Year, new me, and there's nothing new about your life. Guess what? December 31st, we're still in slavery. January 1st, we're still going to be in slavery, man. January 1st, guess what? We're still going to be ruled over by this devil. This devil's still going to be oppressing us. You're still going to have to wake up to go to your job. You're still going to be on minimum wage. You're still going to be behind on the rent. What is there for you to celebrate? And what is there for us to be happy about? We don't have nothing to be happy about, man. We should be looking at it like, damn, another year under this devil, man. That's how we should be looking at it. But we're looking at it like, yay, let's party. Let's do a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7. And then you all start blowing the horns and screaming, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Listen, man, ever since I've been here, I've had sad years in this place, man. You're talking about Happy New Year. I've had sad years in this place, man. 2021 under this devil's going to be another sad year, man. The only time we can be happy is what? When we ruling over ourselves.
That's right.
When we ruling over our oppressors. When we've got all power, man. When the Most High gives us all power under Christ, man. All that power. That's when we're going to be happy. But until then, don't wish us no Happy New Year, man. We ain't happy about nothing, man. We ain't happy about none of this white man's festivities. We ain't happy about Christmas. We ain't happy about Easter. We ain't happy about none of it, man. People look at us and be like, oh, you's like ruining people's holidays. You's like ruining people's fun. You's like hung Santa from the ceiling. People be mad at us, man, for standing up for what? Righteousness. And the crazy thing is, all these people celebrating these things is what? Majority Christians, man. Who's supposed to know better? Who's supposed to believe in God? Who's supposed to follow the Bible? But everything that they follow is not in the Bible, man. Show me where celebrating New Year's is in the Bible. And furthermore, show me when New Year's is the 1st of January, man. And New Year starts in spring when everything springs forth new, man. That's when it starts. Read that one more time from the top.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
And listen, man, you need to read that story, man, when the Lord brought us out of Egypt. Read how the Lord brought us out of Egypt, man. Read it. Maybe that will make you fear the Lord, man. And you'll read how the Lord brought us out of Egypt, and you'll see correlations, man, with them plagues that they got, and how the Lord's plaguing this earth right now. You're getting ready. You wanted to celebrate Christmas. Guess what? The Lord cancelled it, man. You had to celebrate Christmas, miserable. You want to celebrate New Year's tomorrow? Guess what? Birmingham's in tier 4, man. Manchester's in tier 4. London's in tier 4. You can't celebrate your New Year's, man, because it's cancelled. Now, imagine if everything's cancelled, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, man? Whereas you should come here and serve the Lord, man. The things that we celebrate won't be cancelled, man. The Lord won't cancel the things that we do. Whereas everybody makes that like New Year's is the happiest day of their life. And when you know those people that's truly celebrating it, we know people personally, and really they're not as happy as they make out, man.
That's right.
Like you believe that, like you might be in here looking at people outside there and thinking they're having fun. But really, when you know them, you know that they're not having fun, man. The picture, listen, what you need to realize is an Instagram story and whatnot, it lasts about 50 seconds. After that 50 seconds, man, they're miserable. Most of them suffer from depression and everything else, man. But you see that and you look at it like they're having fun and I want to be part of them. Listen, man, if only you knew, man, they're miserable. Go ahead.
I can give one example. I was in London years ago, and they have a bike where a man, he rides a bike and you get to relax at the back. And now a man, he was next to a woman, I believe it was his rib or like his wife. And now with her on the phone on the bike, she got the camera to her face looking like it's happy, it's the best day of her life. And next to her, now the man, he's not on the camera, the man is miserable, like boo, like, you know what I mean? All it is just a London bike ride.
See,
you know what I mean? And look, she made it look like, you know, she had the time of her life. It was the best place in the world. And the man next to her, he was like, I want to go home.
And that's how it looks, man. You see that and you think, you know what? They're having way more fun than I am. Maybe I should go do what they're doing. When the truth is they ain't having fun, man. They're miserable. They're bitter. Not realizing you're free, man. Like you're free. You're not what? Entangled with this stuff of the world, man. You're not entangled with Christmas, Easter, birthdays. You're free, man. And guess what? You save a ton of money. And in you not celebrating birthdays, man, it works out better for you. In you not celebrating Christmas, it works out for you, man. People look at us and say, oh, you just don't want to celebrate it because you want to be cheap. Listen, man. That don't make no sense. Because we buy our loved ones things whenever we see fit to buy them, man. We don't need someone to give us a day of when we should buy them something. We don't need you to give us a day of when we should buy our children a gift. You don't need to give me, I don't need the white man to give me a day of when I should change, man. If I decide I want to change on what day, I'm gonna do it on whatever day I decide, man. I'm gonna let some white man tell me, oh, you have to wait till New Year. What's your New Year resolution? What's your New Year resolution? That's what everyone's always asking, man. And when you find out what theirs is, guess what? 2 weeks into it, they're already doing what they was doing before, man. That's right. They make it like, oh, I'm gonna change, and nothing changes, man. You're still miserable, you're still unhappy. Listen, this is everyone's one, man. I'm starting the gym. That's everyone's one. Listen, man. About 2-3 years ago, man. One person kept saying, "Oh, I'm starting the gym." Every year they'd buy new gym equipment, man. Why are they buying new gym equipment every year? I'm gonna tell you why. Because they didn't start the gym and they ended up putting on more weight, man. So every year they buy new gym equipment to go gym. 2 weeks in, they don't go gym no more. Listen, man, stop lying to yourself. You're telling yourself you're gonna do something that you're not gonna do, man. But drop that. Give me Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2.
Proverbs 29 and the second verse. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
It says when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. How are you rejoicing right now when the righteous ain't in authority, man? You're getting happy this Christmas period. And what you'll realize is at your job, the slave master's only what? Nice to you around the Christmas period. It's only nice to you for what, about 2 weeks? If that. And then after that, they're ready to get rid of you, man. They play all these Santa Claus songs. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Meanwhile, man, they want to sack you. Meanwhile, what? 2 million people's lost their job and more's expected to lose jobs because of this coronavirus. And you're doing what? Spending all your life savings on Christmas presents, man. What are you going to do when you're out of a job? You see that silly little toy you brought, man? That could have been money for extra food.
That's right.
But you wasted that money on some silly little toy that wasn't needed. You wasted money on that silly wrapping paper that wasn't needed. You wasted electric money on that silly Christmas tree that wasn't needed. And then now you're out of a job. You can't pay the rent. And guess what you're going to do now? You're going to go and pray to God, man. You're going to go and pray to God. Meanwhile, you could have prevented all of this by serving God in the beginning, man. By you serving God in the beginning, you wouldn't have had that Christmas tree in your house, man. You wouldn't have been buying them Christmas presents. You wouldn't have been buying that Christmas wrapping paper. This is the thing, man. You disobey God, end up in some condition, and then pray to God to save you out of it. And the Lord's going to be like, well, if you follow my instructions from the get-go, that wouldn't have happened. And that's what we do, man. When things is going good, we don't know the God that delivered us out of Egypt. When things is going good, we don't know him. We don't think about him. We don't think about what makes him happy. We don't think about what pleases him, what don't please him. We don't think about them things. We just think, you know what? I've got to have my fun. I need to do this. I need to do that. That's all we think about. And then when things go bad, guess what happens? Oh God, why don't you answer my prayers? Listen, man. You should have listened from the get-go. And everyone celebrated Christmas, but we know you left your family's house thinking, why did I bother coming? You left your family's house how you left it last year, miserable. That's right. Why did I go there? This is why I don't like family. This is why I only see them once a year. Listen, man. You and your family don't really love each other, but in the name of a white man's holiday, you will come together and pretend that you do, man. When you all hate each other, you all can't stand each other. But for that one day, what do? Put on Christmas hats and all of them things, man. Put on Christmas hats and all of them things, man. And listen, man, if you're a man putting on matching Christmas pajamas with your woman, you gay, man. So lucky I don't think it's gay.
That's right.
A man putting on matching Christmas pajamas, man. It's disgusting. Why are you going to put on matching Christmas pajamas with your woman, man? That right there is, nah, man. Don't be doing that, man. And you know it's not the man's idea. We know The matching Christmas pajamas ain't your idea. We know you didn't say, babes, let's get these matching Christmas pajamas. I know you didn't say that, man. I know she said it to you and you didn't want to do it. But because you know you don't know how to be a man and you don't want to lose your woman, you've sat in some family picturing them Christmas pajamas, knowing you don't want to do it, man. How about you tell her we ain't having no matching Christmas pajamas, man. I ain't participating in Christmas. How about you say if that's what you want to do, you take the picture on your own and you celebrate Christmas on your own. But as for me, I'm not doing it, man. How about you say that? Yeah, go ahead.
I've got a question online as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
From Danica Brown. If you could find any scripture breakdown on the promised land and what it means for the Israelites or
the promised land, basically because Abraham obeyed God. Abraham obeyed God and done everything God required of him. Is it Genesis? Yeah, it's Genesis 18 or whatnot. And then the Lord promised. We're gonna get it actually, and then that's how it came about, basically. But really, that land was what the Garden of Eden in the beginning, which is Israel. But people tell you that they'll tell you the Garden of Eden is what Ethiopia. That's what they'll tell you, which is not true. That's a Rastafarian doctrine. That was when Jamaicans was trying to go back to Ethiopia, so they had to say Leonard Howell had to tell them, Ethiopia's the motherland, because Selassie was from there, so that's why they adopted all of that nonsense. But we're gonna find it in Genesis, either 16 or 18. So we're gonna find that for you. Let me see if I can. Actually, I got one from here. Actually, 1 second. I'm just going to see if I can find it here. Is it Genesis 17? Yeah, Genesis 17. Genesis 17. Yeah, 17, and you can start from verse about 7, or you can probably go up a bit if.
Not sure. Genesis.
So we're gonna get it for you now.
Right. It's Genesis the 17 and verse 6. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee.
So the Lord was saying to Abraham, I'll make you fruitful and I'll make nations of thee. This is the Lord giving Abraham blessings and telling him what's going to become of him. Go ahead.
And the kings shall come out of thee.
And kings shall come out of thee. So when the Lord's telling him these things, at the time, Abraham had no kids at this time. So the Lord's telling him these things. So at the time, Abraham must be thinking, me, because at this time he had no kids. Wife was barren and whatnot. And then now the Lord's going to tell him, read on.
And I will establish my covenant between me.
And this is what makes important, the covenant. Like, don't just think the land, think the covenant that we've got with the Lord, because only we have that covenant. The Lord made a covenant with us, which is an agreement. He goes, and I will establish my covenant. Go ahead.
Between me and thee, and thy seed.
And that's why it's very important to us, because this covenant is established between thee and thy seed after, and we the seed that came after. So it's established between us. So that's what makes all these things important. Like the Holy Land and the covenants. The reason why it's so important is why? Because when we break the covenant, what happens? We end up in England, man. We end up in England with all kind of diseases. When we eat pork, what happens? We end up with diabetes. When we have all this unlawful sex, we end up with AIDS. Why? Because we have a covenant with the Most High that we ain't sticking to. So that's why we punish for breaking it. Whereas you're probably thinking, well, the Arabs and the white men and the Chinese, They do the same things that we do, but why do we get punished the way we get punished? It's because we've got a covenant with the Lord, man, and we break that covenant. So that's why we get punished. They ain't got no covenant with the Lord. Here it's letting you know who the Lord has a covenant with. Go ahead.
Seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant.
And it goes, thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant. This covenant is forever. That's the agreement we in with the Lord. Go ahead.
To be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee.
And he said to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee, meaning a power to us and only us. And this is why we get punished. Why? Because the Lord's saying here, he's going to be a father to us, man. And what does a father do to his children? He punishes them when they break his laws, man. We get punished when we break his covenant. And like you see, this is why we're in England. This is why we're not thriving. If we steal or do what these other nations do, we don't prosper. When the white man steals, he prospers, man. When the Arab steals, he prospers. You know why? Because he ain't got no father, man. We do have a father that requires us to do right, and that's why we get punished. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger.
Hold on, we'll give what?
I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger.
And the Lord said to us, he's going to give us the land where you're a stranger. Why? Because Abraham was there as a stranger at this time. Other nations was there, the Canaanites and so forth. Really, that land, they just dwelt there, but that land wasn't them for them. That land was promised to us. And that's the land. And that land is the best of all lands. And this is why every nation is fighting over it today. The Arabs won it. These Pakistanis won it. These fake Jews won it. Everybody wants that land, man. Meanwhile, the people who the land originally belongs to are smoking weed, man. Are eating edibles. That's the new one, edibles. Now they got edible sweets. Now have you seen the edible sweets now? Now if someone offers you a sweet, you need to ask the ingredients, man, because damn, it could be an edible, man. You could have class at 7 p.m. and you take a sweet from someone and it's an edible and you don't make it to the class, man, because you knocked out somewhere. Read on.
Thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession.
For what?
For an everlasting possession.
For an everlasting possession, man. This land was given to us for an everlasting possession. This is the same land where the Lord said to Moses, take off your shoes and whatnot. It's given to us for an everlasting possession. The Lord also visited Isaac and Jacob and told them the same thing. But one sec, the sister said someone yesterday was telling me the promised land's in the Americas. That's some lie. But go ahead.
Saki, it's what we just read that the promised land, Abraham was a stranger on that land. Abraham was not a stranger in the North America.
Right.
Abraham was a stranger in the Canaanites' land, or what they perceived was their land. So it cannot be America. It wouldn't make sense. We just read it.
Right. And so like I'm gonna pull a next preset for you where it lets you know. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try find the next. Give me 1 second. One second, I had a good one somewhere if I can find it.
One Ezekiel about a land that spans above all lands.
Yeah, that one. Is it that one?
Please, 20 and 15. Let me see. There.
You know what? I can't remember where it is. I got so much precepts in here that. Where is it?
20. I know it's in 20. I remember. Yeah, Ezekiel 20 and 6.
Is that one? Sounds familiar.
Ezekiel 20 and 6. In the day that I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth of the land of Egypt into a land that I had espoused for them, flowing with milk and her honey.
Meaning this land had everything, man. This land had what? The best of everything. And then when you look at it, this is what every nation wants to till this day, man. Why? It's the most fertile, the best of everything, man. Go ahead.
Which is the glory of all lands.
Which is what?
Which is the glory of all lands.
Which is the glory of all lands. That's the Holy Land, man. Which is the glory of all lands. Don't let them lie to you, telling you that. What did they say?
It's America's
it's the Americas
promised land.
and the promised land. Listen, that's a lie, man. It ain't that. Like, I don't understand how they even come up with that. Because when you read these scriptures, it lets you know what the land is and where it is, man. It lets you know what the land is and where it is. There's a next one as well. I'm going to see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. And also, you look at a map, or you have to look at a map, and you say to them, okay, then, so according to the Bible, America is here. Like, it makes no sense. Give me 1 second. Nah, I can't even find that one. I don't even know what it is. But basically, the land of all lands is what? Israel. And it shows, because every nation wants it till this day, man. Because it's the most fertile, the best of everything. Best of everything. So much that what? The Jewish man stole your whole nationality, and he's living there like it belongs to him. But understand this, man. That's a land that we're going to be going back to. Also, it says, also, in Deuteronomy, it says, the land, we ain't going to see it no more. There's plenty of us in America, man. It makes no sense. It says the land, pull that real quick.
All right, the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
That's us going into what? Captivity with slave ships. That's us going into slavery. Egypt means what? Bondage. So when it says that you go into Egypt again with ships, Egypt's a Greek word for bondage. So that's what it means. That's what it says, going into Egypt with ships. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see no more again.
What? We ain't going to see that homeland no more again. Now, does that mean one man's not going to go back? It don't mean that. It's on about in bulk, large amounts of us. We ain't going to see that land again, man. We ain't seen that land. Most of us ain't seen it. We listen, we don't even know where it is on the map. That's how much we ain't seen it. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman.
So we were sold as bondmen and bondwomen. Now, if the whole if the Holy Land is America, that wouldn't make no sense, man. You know why? Because the bulk of our peoples were in North America, man. The bulk of our peoples in North America, where it says we ain't gonna see that land again. So that right there makes no sense. Them saying that America's the Holy Land. What's so holy about America, which is filled with the bones of the Native American Indians, man, which the white man slaughtered and murdered and so forth. Whoever told you that they're lying to you, and they need to get in class, man. Was it any more on that?
A lot.
Yeah, no, that's it on that. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 33.
Deuteronomy 28 and 33. The fruit of thy land and all of thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
And we celebrating Happy New Year this day, Christmas, when all the fruit of our labors, another nation's eating off it, man. Everything that we do, another nation's benefiting from it. That's right. Like you go into your slavery, now you get a little change for it, but it benefits the guy that runs the company the most, man. If he can pay you, just understand this. If he can pay you 10 or 15 pound an hour, just think how much work he's getting out of you, man. He's getting about 200 pounds work out of you. And what you'll find they're doing now is when you before your workplace used to have tons of workers, but now because of COVID, they're losing money. So what do they do? You'd have 10 people doing the job. Now they've cut it down to 5, which means you're doing a 2-person's job, but you ain't getting no pay rise, man. You're doing 2 people's work. They've fired 5 people, and there's 5 people left. So you're doing a 2-man. You're doing 2 people's amount of work on a 1-man wage, and you're happy about that, and you ain't even noticed, man. And you're there saying, "Yeah, I got my dream job." Listen, man, you shouldn't be dreaming about working for some oppressor, man. That shouldn't be your dream job. That's a good slave mentality. My dream job. You can have a job that you like, but when you say, "Yeah, I dreamed and prayed for this, and I dreamed that I would get this," listen, man, I couldn't dream about working for some devil, man. It's just something I have to do to get money. Now, can you have a job that you like? Yeah, you can, man. But for you to put your all in this, dreamed of this and dreamed of that, no, that's a slave mentality, man. But go ahead.
And thou shalt be only oppressed.
And what?
Thou shalt be only oppressed.
So whether it's a new year to you or 10 new years to you, thou shalt be what?
Only oppressed.
Your situation ain't gonna change, man. Listen, from 2010, every year you've said new year, new me, and thou shalt be what?
Only oppressed.
And each year you're oppressed, man. In 2011, there was what?
Only oppressed.
In 2012, there was what?
Only oppressed.
In 2019, there was what?
Only oppressed.
In 2020, there was what?
Only oppressed.
And what are they going to be in 2021?
Only oppressed.
You're going to only be oppressed, man. And you're talking about new year, new me, man. Listen, man, there's nothing new. You're still going to wake up January 1st. The same devil's going to be ruling over you. It's going to that same job that you hate, doing everything that you hate. And you're making all these New Year's resolutions, New Year, new. This is the funniest one. Oh, I'm cutting people off come New Year's. You've heard that one, innit? Watch. So this is what they do. The post the indirect to everyone. Some of you ain't making it into my 2021. What's so special about your 2021, man? Like what makes your so-called 2021 any different to anybody else's, man? If you want to cut someone off, do it now, man. Listen, if I wanted to cut you off, I'm gonna do it now, man. I don't need to wait till December 31st. I can cut you off in February, March, April, May, June, July. I'll cut you off whenever I want, man. I don't need to wait till December 31st, 12 o'clock and say, "Oh, I'm cutting everybody off." That's a common one. That one there is, I'm cutting everybody off. Blah 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 blah. Was there any more on that or?
Only oppressed and crushed always.
And what?
And crushed always.
And that's us, man. We crushed always in this place, man. Like the only way things will get better is what? By you coming and serving the Lord. Now, if you serve the Lord, you would understand what's going on with all this coronavirus. You would understand who it's coming from. And all you people that wanted coronavirus to go, guess what? You all celebrated Christmas, and there's a next strain of coronavirus, which they said is spreading more than the first strain of coronavirus. So much that they backed up all them lorries. Where was it? Dover. Yeah. So much that they backed up all them lorries, man. Weren't letting them into the country, in and out or whatnot. Meanwhile, you was buying Christmas presents, man. You didn't even know that there could have been a food shortage. You didn't know. Too focused buying Christmas presents. Listen, man. Them kids can't eat them Christmas presents, man. They can't eat them toys. Whereas if you was wise, you'd be watching and, you know, putting some money aside and getting your little food and your little, getting an extra freezer so you can, you know, have more food and whatnot. You'd be preparing. But what happens? Christianity don't teach you to prepare for anything, man. Christianity teaches you what? That things is going to fall out the sky. And no word of a lie. A few years ago, I heard a pastor say it was Christmas. This was years ago. He said it was Christmas and he had no food in his cupboards. He opened his cupboards. There was no food in there. He shut the cupboards. He prayed to God He opened the cupboards and it was full of food and Christmas presents. Listen, man, these pastors is liars, man. He said it was full of food and Christmas presents. The reason his cupboards was full of food and Christmas presents, why? Is because he took his congregation's money, man. That's the only explanation, man. He took their money and took care of himself. Go ahead.
Yeah, he had the money and then he went in the shop
Right.
and he brought the food.
Right, exactly. And then he opened the cupboard back and lied to you and told you the Lord put it there. And that's what Christianity teaches you, that you don't need to be prepared. Christianity teaches you that what? Everything's just gonna fall from the sky. And you don't need to do nothing, which is a lie, man. You prepare, man. That's what you do. You listen to us. Whatever we tell you to do, that's what you do. Anyone that is that about it?
Verse 34. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes.
Listen, man. Most people are mad for the sight of their eyes, but they'll put on that dress and go celebrate New Year's and act like they're happy, act like their life's great, act like their life's this and that. Listen, man, you can tell when someone's life ain't too great, man. You can tell just by the negativity they try to pass on everybody else. Like, some people have to put other people down to bring themselves up. You know, those people, like, there's some people where, say for instance, someone's got 2 degrees. All you can say is, I got 2 degrees. It was harder. Thank God I graduated. That's it. All you have to say. But some people go the extra mile and be like, oh, I got 2 degrees. I'm not going to be with no man that's got none. Like, why you need to add the extra for? Or they'll be like, oh, I got 2 degrees while some of you's like, blah, 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 got no degrees. There's no need to put people down, man. All you need to say is, I've got 2 degrees. Your rappers do it all the time. They show their money and say, F these broke niggas. I mean, why? Why you have to say that for? All you have to do is say, I got money, and leave it at that. But you put in the extra sentence, I got 500,000. F these broke niggas. We got the same 24 hours. Why do you need to add the extra for, man? You add the extra, and then guess what happens? One of these broke niggas that you called broke niggas you're stunting on comes and robs you, man. And he robs you. Why? Because you're stunting on him, man. Just make your money. Show it if you want. But don't, tell people, F these broke niggas. Like, the broke man ain't got all the problems in the world already. Like, he ain't got enough problems already without you dissing him in the process, man. And all these rappers do it, like, F these broke niggas. Like, you don't hear them mention no other race when they say it's always broke niggas. Like no other races ain't broke, where it's just only black men that can be broke.
And if I can add on to that, and it's very rude because the same people you're saying they are broke, they're the ones that basically make you rich.
Right. Exactly.
They're the ones that in their car, they play your song so that someone else hears that song, and then you laugh at them. Meanwhile, they're making you who you are.
Right, exactly. They support you the most, man. They buy your records and so forth. They buy your records and follow you on the Instagram and all of them things, and then you repay them by saying F these broke niggas. Is anyone that, or is that about it?
That's it.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. This is what black people should be doing, man. We should be watching and observing these times we're living in now. Yeah, I know you've heard your granddad say this before, these times we're living in. People always say, my granddad said that years ago. We've all heard this from our granddad, these times we're living in. So people hear that and be like, oh, because listen, my granddad said it too, but understand this, man. We close, man. Can we tell you when? No, we can't, man. But by these signs that we're seeing and so forth, and this is what Christ was saying, his disciples asked him, all right then, so what's going to happen in the end days? And he runs it down for them.
Matthew 24 and 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privily, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And
so they come to Christ and said, tell us, when shall these things be? Meaning, Christ was breaking stuff down and they come to him afterwards. So when's all this going to happen? And then Christ runs it down for them.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
And they said, what's the sign of you coming? Meaning, all right, what's the sign of you coming? Meaning, what's going to happen? So we can be ready for when you're going to come. So we know when you're close to return. They wanted a sign to know, all right, what signs are going to be shown so we know. And then Christ runs it down for them. Go ahead.
And the end of the world.
Now, when it says the end of the world, it's talking about the end of this world as you know it, man. Guess what? New Year's is coming to an end, man. Christmas is coming to an end.
That's
Easter
right.
is coming to an end. This white man's world is coming to an end. That's what it's talking about. You're thinking it's like a movie where writing's going to come down and everything stops. Nah, man, it ain't talking about that. The end of the world is what? The end of who's ruling it, man. And then there's a new world taking over after, man. That's what it's talking about. The end of the world where what? A man can have a sex change and become a woman, man. It's talking about the end of that, man. The end of where what? Two men can lie down in bed together. It's talking about that, man. The end of that world. Damn, listen. I want to know when the end of this world is, man.
That's right.
We're sick of seeing these things, man. Two men. So lucky there was a thing today. I don't know if you've seen it. It pops up on them things where there was, what are they? There was two twin sisters, and both of them changed into transgenders. Both of them changed into men. Now, at first, if you're a parent and one child does it, you can be like, well, maybe that child just went off and didn't obey the parents. But two, I think the parents have to take the blame for that one. Like two, all right, one, I could be like, all right, I could have been like, all right, then. One of the twins stayed straight, and the other one, who do I blame? Or is it just this child was just a reprobate? But both of them, I think it has to be the mom and dad's fault for that one. The end of that kind of world's coming to an end, man. Go ahead.
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
Take heed that no man deceive you, because many people will deceive you, man. They'll come tell you, yeah, we follow Christ, we this, we that. They'll tell you all of this stuff. Listen, some of them that would deceive you is some of them who's even telling you that Christ is black, man. There's some of them that know Christ is black, but guess what? They're still deceiving you with everything else that they're teaching you. They're teaching you Africans can be a part of you, white people can be a part of you, teaching you heaven and hell, teaching you all of this stuff that ain't in the Bible, man. Teaching you all these next books that ain't biblical, man. Teaching you all this nonsense. Don't let no man deceive you, man. You following all kind of calendars, talking about the Sabbath is what on a Wednesday and this all of this crazy stuff. Don't let no man deceive you, man. and listen, man, if you're on Facebook, you'll see everyone's got a different doctrine on Facebook. On Facebook, you'll see people quoting books that don't exist, man. I've seen some nigga quoting the Diss of Paul. I'm thinking, what the hell's that? There's some next fake book, something, the disciples.
Yeah, the general disciples.
Some all of them things where listen, these books ain't biblical, man. And when you do the research on them books, you realize some white man that sits in his bedroom wrote them, man. You find out that they ain't got no authentic source. You find out that what there's no original of them found in the Hebrew or the Greek. You find that it's just written in the language that you've got it in. You found that it doesn't go further back than 100 years. Some of them, and you believe in them books, man, deceiving yourself. You're reading books about Paul went to some seventh heaven, all of this nonsense. Listen, man, just stick with the Bible, man. You're going and venturing out and the thing is this, with all these books that you read, you can't keep a basic law which says don't line up your head, man, which says don't shave off your beard, which says don't be a homosexual. You find all this knowledge, man, all this so-called knowledge you think you found. You read a million books, and then the things that you're supposed to do, you can't do, man. Stay out of them books. Go ahead.
Deceive you for verse 5, for many shall come in my name.
Many shall come in his name, man. Many people come in Christ's name, using his name, saying, oh, I'm a follower of Christ. I'm this, I'm that. Saying we serve Christ. They don't, man. There's people saying they serve Christ. Christ said do what? Love your brothers, man. Protect your brothers. There's some people saying they serve Christ, but they got a sister killed by an African man. That don't sound like something Christ would do to me. That don't sound like somebody who follows Christ would do to me. Many deceivers have come saying they follow Christ when they don't, man. They tell you that, and you ain't tried the spirit to see whether they do or don't, man. Understand this, man. None of them do. The only place you can be sure that everyone follows Christ is in the I.S.U.P.K, man.
That's right.
Listen, we've been around for a while, man, and we've seen so many things, man. Listen, you want to be in this room safe, man. You want to be in here if you know what's good for you. Go ahead.
Saying, I am Christ and shall deceive many.
And many people come. People even say they are Christ. What's that white man's name that poisoned everyone with the Kool-Aid?
Man, Jim Jones.
Is it Jim Jones? Was it him or the next one?
Jim Jones, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, there was Jim Jones. What's the next one's name as well? And he burnt down the thing. Remember?
Something Koresh.
David Koresh. Is he the one that burnt down the?
I believe so, but
according to them, they say that the tear gas. They say the tear gas set it on fire, and the police killed everyone. Some of the followers that still believe in him believe that story till this day, that the tear gas set it on fire, and then some of them say he set off the fire in there and said to everyone, "If you believe in the Lord, you will all die. All of this, not all you'll die and go to heaven." And apparently, which one had tons of black people? That was Jim Jones in it.
Jim Jones. Yeah.
You believing in all of these people where they take you to these islands, and where was it? Island? Was it Belize somewhere?
Belize or Brazil.
Is I hear the island somewhere, and plenty of people that wanted to leave the site. He kept your kids behind because he knows you love your kids, so you couldn't leave. And then what he would do is he would do drills where he would give you normal Kool-Aid and tell you there's poison in there. You would drink it and not die. And then one day, when he realized that the FBI was closing in on him, what did he do? Drink poison, man, and it gave everyone poison and killed everybody and so forth. He told you that he was Christ, man. Listen, don't believe all these liars that's just coming in to deceive you and whatnot, because that's all they're doing. They're lying to you, deceiving you for your money, killing you and your children, man. You should leave those places if you know what's good for you. Go ahead.
Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Christ saying you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And what you'll find is all these nations be going back and forth with each other, man. One minute Trump's dropping bombs, and what's that man's name? And it blew him up. And his legs and everywhere was scattered. I can't remember.
The Iranian.
What's his name? Baghdadi. Baghdadi blew him to pieces, man. No. You see, one leg was there, his head was there. Listen, man. There's wars and rumors of wars, man. And listen, what Christ said, he ain't lying, because we've been hearing of these wars and rumors of wars for a while. So what will happen is people hear about these rumors of wars, and then it will go quiet for a bit. Everyone gets comfortable again. They hear another rumor of war. What happens? They get quiet again. Until one day, believe it or not, that war is going to come, man. You're gonna think it's just another rumor because you ain't being vigilant and paying attention enough. But one day that war is going to come, man. You just make sure you're watching, like how we are. Go ahead.
See that ye be not troubled.
Say, see that ye be not troubled. Like in here, we ain't troubled by these things. Like we live carefree, man. We don't care about none of that stuff, man. We carefree in here, man. You're scared about, if these nations go to war, this is going to happen to England. Listen, man, we know when they go to war, we know what that means, man. We know what that means, so we ain't troubled, man. We ain't stressed out and oppressed, thinking, but if England goes into a war, I'm going to lose this job that I worked hard. We don't care about none of that, man, because we know what all these countries is going down one way or another, man, and it's gonna happen, and we closer to it, man. And they asked for the signs, and these is the signs that he gave them. Meanwhile, you're out saying Happy New Year and doing all your hoorays. Listen, man, we out here watching the signs, and we ain't troubled, man. Meanwhile, you're troubled, scared to death of the coronavirus, scared for your life, wearing 3 pairs of gloves, 5 face masks, scared for your life. Listen, man. But you still sleep with that whore with no condom, though. It doesn't make no sense to me. I don't understand you. You'll wear 10 face masks. but then you sleep with hoes with no condom. I can't. I don't understand you. I don't understand your logic. I don't understand it. But go ahead. If that's the case, you might as well just not wear the face mask and not wear the gloves. Go ahead.
For all these things must come to surpass.
And it says all these things must come to pass, and all these things that you're seeing taking place, that's happening. These things must come to pass, and they're coming to pass right in front of your eyes. But the thing is, most people ain't paying attention, so most people won't know what's came to pass. Go ahead.
But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation.
For nation shall rise against nation. And what's that? That's your race wars, man. One race of people is going to fight against another race of people. And it happens all the time, man. You sin, nation rise against nation. When what? When they killed you, Mark Duggan, nation rose against nation, man. And then guess what happened with that? First, it started with black people versus white people. And then these East Indians started to get involved in it, into black people versus white people and East Indians, which is letting you know, just in the UK alone, every riot we have you noticed it ends into everyone turning against us? Somehow everything becomes our fault. First of all, they would harm a black person, so we're angry about it. Now, I'm not saying rioting is the way, but obviously people without no leadership, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. So first, the marched outside what? Beauty Queens. The marched outside Beauty Queens, man. Because apparently they said what a sister got raped in there. Was it even true? I don't know. Yeah, because I don't. They were saying they couldn't find no female, nothing called nonsense. But people say she didn't come forward because she didn't have no papers.
No,
some nonsense.
Now, well, okay. What they say happened was really it was a Rasta man. He was having sex with one of the Indian girls who I believe it was their dad. He owned that shop, and he went there to go and you know what I mean, just like I think he went there for her, and he got beat up.
Oh, that's what it was.
And then now he lied. So because he got beat up, he started to spread a rumor about that they raped a black girl in there, and of course the rumor got around, and then people started to go outside and bring it up, but it never happened.
No way, damn. And then guess what? Everyone said those boycotting Beauty Queens, and what, a week later, everyone forgot. Yeah. A week later, everyone forgot. And I'm sure that Beauty Queens is still there till this day. Yeah. See, and that Beauty Queens makes a ton of money, man. It makes a ton of money from black people. Like, what you'll find is all these hair shops is where black people are. So they put one on Soho Road because there's black people there. Put one in Prey Bar because there's black people there. And they put one in town, Dale End, because there's black people there. They're called Sabina's Hair Nonsense. And every time you walk past it, and they put it right opposite the KFC, that when you see that on the right where Adams used to be, it's right there, and there's tons of black people always there. And they know how they know where to put their shops. Like, they scout out the spot, like, all right, then. There's tons of black traffic there. So this is gonna bring us money. And that's why they pull it there, man. I mean, you know that you couldn't put a shop in Chinatown. If someone said to you, put a shop in Chinatown, you'll be like, I'm not going to make no money there, so I'm not going to do that. That's what you would say. But they know they can put their stuff in your community because it's going to make them money. And we celebrate in New Year when, listen, man, we're still going to be poor. We're still going to be broke. It don't make no sense, man. You're sinning against the Lord, man. Just drop all these pagan holidays. Imagine, just look at it logically, like, New Year's is cancelled. Look how much money the white man's lost. Look. Remember, black people don't really own clubs. We don't really own clubs. Now, you look at all these clubs which is run by white men. Sugar Sweet, Zara's. Look how much money they've lost, man. On a night like, when is it? Tonight? Is it tonight they would have been out? Is it tonight? Tonight and tomorrow night. They would have been out tonight and tomorrow night. And guess what? They would have charged, what? £50 on the door per head. And then when you get in there, your bottles is now from the normal shop, that same £28, £30 bottle, it cost. Nah, it's about 200 in there. It's about 220 pounds to be precise. Now, it's £30 in the shop. In the club, they charge you £220 to £250. If it's the gold Ace and Spades bottle, they charge you £500. They charge you that money, and then guess what? You spent £220 on that bottle, and they've just brought the whole case for like a case of 12 for like what, £120 or something. They brought a case of 12 for less than what they've charged you for one bottle. Just look how much money they've lost. This is why they're always crying right now, saying, "Oh, I need to sell my venue because I'm not making no money." The man in the chip shop on Broad Street was crying about a month ago, saying, "Oh, after a night out, I used to make like $6,000 on a Saturday just in the 3 hours after the nightclub." And then he goes, "Now I'm lucky if I make £100 a week." Listen, man, we laughed, man. That's his problem. Guess what? What have we got to lose? We don't own no clubs, so we ain't losing out on nothing, man. We don't own no food shops. We ain't losing out on nothing. Let them cry about losing money, man. That's their business. Meanwhile, they was extorting us. Guess what? Because of this coronavirus, they can't extort us no more, man. They can't charge us £300 for a bottle in the club no more because of this coronavirus, man. You should thank the Lord for saving you money also, man. Right. The Lord saving you from yourself, man. Because if it was up to you, you'd be in the club buying a £300 bottle. The Lord sent this coronavirus and he's saving you from yourself. Go ahead. Any more on that?
Yeah. And the kingdom against the kingdom.
And kingdom against kingdom, man. Countries against countries. That's what you're seeing right now, man. Countries against countries. That's what we should be doing, watching out for, man. But instead, we rather be in the club somewhere, having some. Now, in the midst of COVID, people are having secret parties in near enough derelict buildings, man. Looks like the floors are going to collapse, man. You're willing to kill yourself because you need to party that much, because you need to put on a dress and dance that much. You're willing to kill yourself in the midst of this COVID, man. It makes no sense. Go ahead.
And there shall be famines.
And there shall be what?
There shall be famines.
Listen, man. You almost had a famine the other day, man. When them lorries couldn't get into England, man, or get out, man. You almost had a famine. And then when you look at it, I believe England only does what? Produces what? A third of food. Yeah. See, England only produces a third of food, man. Which means England produces less than half, man. England produces like 1/4 of food, man. England produces 1/4 of food. And them lorries couldn't get in and they wouldn't let them in. Yeah. Because why? These other countries don't want the new coronavirus strain to spread to their country. What would you have done? You wouldn't have noticed, man. Most people didn't know because why? You was too busy getting ready for New Year's, getting ready for Christmas, talking about Merry Christmas, everyone pulling them Christmas crackers. Listen, man, it's so childish, man. Listen, you buy them Christmas crackers for £5 and what comes in there ain't even worth £1, man. Have you noticed?
That's right.
Have you noticed? People buy them fancy ones. It's in the fancy ones that comes in the packet of 5 and they pull them. Like the price that you pay for them, you pay like £5 to £10 for them. And then what comes in there? A little tiny toy which costs about 50 pence, man. They're hustling you and you don't see it, man. They're robbing you and you don't see it. Us in the I.S.U.P.K seat, man. We see it as damn. So this is how we see it. So you pay £10 for that 50 pence toy. That's how we see it. But you see it as, it's all in the spirit of Christmas. It's all in the spirit of Christmas. And then now, you broke. Now, some of you are going back on furlough because now we've gone into tier 4 today. And furlough is what? 80% of your wage. Sometimes 60. Yeah. Furlough is 80% of your wage, sometimes 60. Some of you are going to get a letter which says they no longer need your services no more. Which means what? You ain't getting paid, man. That's what that means. That you ain't getting paid, man. Now's not the time for you to be blowing money on nonsense. But obviously, seems like with us, we have to learn the hard way. Is there any more on that? Jump to Revelations chapter 21 and verse 1.
Revelations 21 and 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
Listen, this is when we gonna celebrate, man. You're celebrating and ain't nothing new for you, man. This is when we gonna celebrate. I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Now, people think that this means that there's gonna be new concrete and new trees grown and new pavements and new. It don't mean that, man. When it says a new heaven and a new earth, the heaven is what? Symbolic for what? Who's ruling, man? Who's on top? The earth is what? The person who's beneath at the bottom. This is a role switch. I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Meaning what? At this current moment, we the earth, because we're at the bottom. But the time's coming when there's going to be a new heaven, which is going to be us. We're going to be that new heaven, which is going to be ruling over the white man, and he's going to become the earth. That's when we're going to celebrate, man. That's when we're going to buy them £500 bottles, man. That's when we're going to have them bottles of Ace and Spades, man. When there's a new heaven and new earth. For now, we ain't celebrating no New Year's. And then guess what? You go home and you have to get up and go to work tomorrow. Get up and go be a slave tomorrow. You're writing letters to people in jail, man. Listen, this is another real people in jail celebrating New Year's. Have you seen it? The banging on their doors like boom, boom, boom. You seen it? Exactly. What's your resolution, man? Listen, man. Your resolution should be what? You getting the I.S.U.P.K, man. If it ain't that, I don't want to hear it, man. If it ain't that, I don't want to hear it. People in jail be celebrating New Year's. How you in jail celebrating New Year's and you've got 5 years in jail left, man? You got 5 years in jail left, man. It's not even your last year in jail and you're celebrating New Year's from jail. You see, or have you seen them videos where some of them have got a mobile phone in there, they all got that hooch in there, the alcohol that they made, and they're living their best life, man. They're partying like there's no tomorrow, man. Listen, it says, I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Go ahead.
Yeah. For all the first heaven and the first earth were surpassed away.
It says for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, meaning this white man's rulership is over now. That was the first heaven and the earth. This is a new one where we the heavens now and his the earth, meaning we got our foot on his neck. Go ahead.
And there was no more sea.
And it says, and there was no more sea. Now, what does the sea symbolize? Like you see when people say there's a sea of people. The sea is like the world. Says there's no more sea. Now, does that mean you're gonna look and there's no more water? Ain't talking about that, man. It's talking about there's no more people doing whatever they want. No more people just in the world, free as to go and do whatever they please and whatnot. There was no more sea, man. That's what it's talking about. This ain't talking about you're not going to see the River Jordan no more. This ain't talking about you're not going to see the River Thames no more, the English Channel. Ain't talking about them things when it says there's no more sea. Read on.
Verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem,
and
coming down from God out of heaven.
And listen, man, this is what we looking to see. We don't care about New Year's Eve and Christmas. Like, we don't care about it. Like, there's some people that, upset and want to celebrate it. And honestly, you're not missing nothing, man. You think you are, but you're not missing nothing. Because all those people, the thing is this, you have a conscience, and all them people celebrating it, most of them don't, man. They're free to do whatever they want, have sex with whoever they want. The thing is this, sinning only lasts so long, man. It don't last forever. Them living that, just look at it like this. The life that they're living now, they ain't going to be living that life forever. But the life that we living right now, we're going to be living this life forever. So understand this, soon all them people, there's only going to be two options. They either have to live like you or death. There's only going to be two options, man. They have to die or they have to live like you. Now, why are you going to change the way you're living to be like them when how they're living ain't going to last forever? Go ahead.
From heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them.
Listen, man. The Lord's going to be with us, man. Now, if we want the Lord with us, we need to serve him. Now, people think this means what? You're going to be able to touch the Lord and see him and so forth. When it says the Lord shall dwell with them, it's talking about how it was before when it says the Lord will be with us and we will chase our enemies down. That's what it's talking about when it says the Lord will dwell with us. People think it literally means you can go to God's throne and touch it and see him. And nah, that's what Christians make you believe. It don't mean that. It just means the Lord's going to be with us.
And they shall be his people.
And the time's coming when we're going to be the Lord's people again, man. Where we're going to be the Lord's people again. We just need to get it right now. That's what we need to do. So the Lord can do what? Dwell with us, man. If the Lord dwells with us, guess what? Nobody can't harm us. These other nations knew that. And that's why in the book of Judith, his one of his counselors said, my Lord and Governor, if they serve their God, we can't touch them. But if they disobey their God, then we can take them. They understand this, man. This is why they, want you to celebrate New Year's, want you to celebrate Christmas, because they know if you stop doing all that and serve God, they know the Lord would dwell with you and the Lord would move with you. They can't have that, because if the Lord moves with you, that spells doom for them. So they need to keep you disobeying the Lord, and then that way they can have you right where they want you. They know that their kingdom's coming down, but they can prolong it by having you disobey the Lord, man. You need to come in here and help cripple their economy, man. You come in here and serve God, that will help cripple their economy. Why? Because you ain't buying Valentine's Day gifts, which means Valentine's Day would have to be cancelled. You ain't buying no Easter eggs, which means they'll have to stop selling Easter eggs. You ain't celebrating Christmas, which means what? They'll have to stop selling Christmas trees. You ain't celebrating New Year's, which means what? They'll have to stop hosting New Year events. You could shut down all of their nonsense because you're the one that gives this flavor, man. Everybody only goes to clubs because you go. Everybody only goes to bars because you go. Everybody only does these things because you do it. If you stop doing it, nobody would do it. Like all these clubs and stuff, it ain't geared towards white people. It ain't geared towards them. It's geared towards you. Go ahead.
And God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Listen, man, that's what we need, man. We need the Lord to be with us, man, and be our power. Go ahead.
Verse 4, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Listen, man, the day's coming when we don't have to cry no more, man. Days coming when there's no more 9 to 5, man. No more oppressor ruling over you. No more oppressor throwing you in jail, man. No more, man. The day is coming when there's no more of that, man.
That's right.
And the Lord's going to wipe away them tears, take them burdens away from us. And we need that, man. How can we be acting like we're happy when we ain't happy? That's the thing. We act like we're happy and we over the moon and life's great. When really, this condition that we're living in ain't great, man. We're in the ghettos with hardly any money. Our condition ain't great. Go ahead.
And there shall be no more death, nor either sorrow, nor crying, nor either shall there be any more pain.
Right, no more pain, man. The day is coming.
For the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write.
He said, I make all things new, man. Listen, man, this is something that's going to be new. Meanwhile, you're saying new year, new me. That's nothing new, man. Right. The same thing you was doing December 31st. The same thing you do in January 1st. Same thing you done in 2010. You're going to do in 2021. Nothing new, man. All these New Year resolutions, I'm cutting people off. People didn't treat me right this year. I'm cutting them off come January 1st. I'm not bringing them into my... So, some of you, this is the last you're hearing from me because I'm not bringing you into my January 2021. New year, new me. New year, new me. Listen, man. If you're on a change, man, you can change right now. Don't wait for some new year. Is that anyone? Is that pretty much it? Give me Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 22.
Proverbs 1 and 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
And this is us, man. We simple. How long we gonna love simplicity? The Lord's done what? Had mercy on us, man. It's time for us to do what? Come back to the Lord. But we keep being simple and simple and simple until what? One day the Lord has to say, you know what? I'm gonna have to kill them so they can start again, man. Let me make this one die young so he can start again. And that's what happens to us. Why? Because we love simplicity. Celebrating Christmas is simple, man. You're simple. Easter, you're simple. Your birthday, you're simple. Celebrating all them things, man. You're simple. Says, how long will you love simplicity? And we've learned to be simple in this place. Go ahead.
And scorners delight in their scorning.
And listen, man, we tell people, look, man, don't celebrate this nonsense. And they laugh at us, say, yo, I think I'm listening to you. I'm going to party. I'm going to party. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm celebrating Christmas. I'm buying my kids these presents. I'm buying my kids this. You think I'm listening to you? You think I'm not going to buy my youths Christmas presents because God said so? There's people that always say all these things. Go ahead.
And the fools hate knowledge.
And the fools hate knowledge. We'll be giving you this knowledge for free, man. And fools hate it. Fools hear it and say, you think I'm going to not buy my kids Christmas presents? Because you said, because God said. Listen, man. You better serve God, man, because God can do whatever he wants with you, man. God could take you out the picture. He can take them kids out the picture, man. You better serve God, man. You better read about how the Lord operates, man. It ain't the Christian God you've been taught. It ain't the God in church you've been taught. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Turn you at my proofs.
You're supposed to turn at the Lord's correction. You're supposed to hear, well, what you're doing is wrong. Don't do it no more. You're supposed to turn and say, all right, then. So like I didn't know, let me change up. Go ahead.
Behold, I will pour out my spirit upon you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have succored and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded.
Listen, man, the Lord stretched out his hand, man, and no man regarded. You didn't want it. You don't want at the time when you know what, when you're thinking your life's going good, the Lord's been calling on to you saying, yo, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And you want to do it, man. The Lord's giving you the knowledge. You didn't want the knowledge. The reproof. You don't want the reproof. And so forth. Go ahead.
But ye have set at naught all my counsel.
And the Lord's counsel, all his words, you've set it as naught, meaning it don't mean nothing to you, man. All of that means nothing to you. Everything the Lord said, it means nothing to you. The Lord said don't celebrate Christmas, that means naught to you. The Lord said don't celebrate New Year's, that means naught to you. Go ahead.
And would none of my reproofs.
I'm buying my kids Christmas presents. I don't care what God says. You didn't care about his reproof. Go ahead.
I also will laugh at your calamity.
Oh, the Lord's gonna laugh at you, man. When them same kids you buying Christmas presents for says F you, we don't want to know you, man. You're gonna say, Lord, why don't my kids want to know? The Lord will laugh at your calamity, man. Why? You set his counsel at naught. When he stretched out his hand, you didn't want it, man. When he told you follow his reproof, you didn't want to. But now, everything that you was doing, and you disregarded everything what God said for, now all them things that you done that you thought was wise in your own eyes, which was going against God, them same things is coming back to haunt you now. Everything's going wrong. Everything that you done now, Now what you've sowed, it's time to reap. It's all going wrong. And now guess what you're doing? Praying to the Lord. And the Lord said what?
Fuck yeah. I also will laugh at your calamity.
Now your darkest moments, the Lord's laughing at you, man. And you're going to be crying, saying, oh, nobody hears me. The Lord don't answer my prayers. Listen, man, when the Lord stretched out his hand, when the Lord gave you the knowledge, when the Lord gave you the counsel, you set it at naught and said, I don't care. I'm buying my kids this. I'm buying them these Christmas presents. I'm doing whatever I want to do. You done all of that. And then now you need the Lord. Now you're about to get evicted from your house and you need £400 to give your landlord today. And you ain't got that £400 and there's no one to give it to you. You've been mad at the Lord. Whereas if you listen to the Lord's counsel and not celebrating Christmas, you would have had that £400, man. You could have had that £400, but guess what? You wanted to buy some big Bob the Builder truck. Have you seen some of these ridiculous, these ridiculous £400 for them? Go ahead.
And like, what hurts the most is they're ridiculous in the size and it's so expensive.
Right.
And like, people go in debt, use their credit cards and take out loans for a day.
Right, exactly. For a day, just to wrap it up and just to say, oh, my child loves me. Oh, he was so happy. And you see all these women with their phone recording their child opening the presents. Listen, I seen one funny one the other day. She brought her son, she brought him an Xbox. She brought him an Xbox, so he's unwrapped it. He's seen Xbox. He's like, oh my God. He stood up, he's put his hands here in his face. He started crying. I was thinking, listen, man. If my son started crying like that, man, listen, I say, listen, you need to toughen up. You ain't getting no damn Xbox, man. That's right. I say, you ain't getting no, what? Listen, what, like, crying because he got Xbox and the mom thought that was, to her, that was a special moment. When I'm thinking, he cried, I'm thinking, is it that serious? I can't remember ever crying because I got some PlayStation or Xbox. I don't know, maybe I'm built a little different, I don't know. But I really don't.
I will mock when your fear succumbeth.
Now, when you're afraid and your fear comes, the Lord will mock. Guess what? The Lord could help you, but he ain't gonna. Why? Because you set his counsel at naught, man. Meanwhile, the Lord's gonna help the people that obey his counsel, that follow his orders. The Lord's gonna obey those people. The Lord's gonna help those people. But you, when your fear comes, just remember, the Lord can do whatever he wants. The thing that you're afraid of right here is something which is small to the Lord. The Lord could stop it just like that, but the Lord's going to look at you scared for your life and mock you and think, you thought you could go up against me and mock you, man. Go ahead.
I've got a comment online as well.
Go ahead.
It's from Rachel Foxon. It is so true. Never understood before the I.S.U.P.K. I was a parent spending and buying the child stuff, and the joke is he rather have my time than the gifts. This was our first year not celebrating, and it's the best day we've had. So what is being said is the truth, and I finally understand.
Most high and thank you, hand, man. And you see that was the best. That was the what? The best day spent. You know why? Because Christmas ain't really about coming together. Like they make out like, you know, Christmas is all of us coming together. Really, the family all hate each other, and you see aunties that you hate, uncles that you hate. Uncles that hate you, cousins that hate you, and then for the first hour you all get along, and then every black family, someone ends up storming out. Slamming the door. And being black, we all got that one. Hey, listen, everyone's got them in the black family. We either got one. You got one uncle that's a thief, or aunt that's an alcoholic, man. And then they come. You know, the black sheep of the family. Everybody's got one of them. The black sheep comes around in the family. And your parents have already warned you, oh, your aunt is so you know what your aunt is like because your mom hates them. Your mom tells you they can't stand this family member. So you see that family member and they come to you saying, "Oh yeah, me and your mom are da da da," and these times you know your mom hates them, and they hate your mom, and really it's just a ball of confusion. How about everyone just stays where they are? We don't celebrate it, man. It makes sense. Everybody, you have please put something. Oh, that one. Oh, all right.
When your fear succumbeth as a desolation, and your destruction succumbeth as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you.
Because now you're thinking all these people is having fun. Guess what? Distress is going to come upon them one day, man. Anguish is going to come upon them one day. They're going to want the Lord one day. And the Lord's going to say, go ask Janus, man. You want help from the Lord? Ask Janus, man. Janus is your God, man. You made resolutions to him. You go ask Janus for help, man. You ask him for help. And then in that day, you're going to be like, but Janus ain't real. You're going to be like, but you can be like, but you're the God of heaven and earth. Listen, if you know who's the God of heaven and earth, obey him then, man, and serve him instead of serving Janus. Instead of talking about, oh, I'm not celebrating it as in worshiping him, but I'm just doing it for the kids. I'm doing it for the fun. Listen, man, you worshiping him, because if you wasn't worshiping him, you would obey the God that you do worship, man, which shows you really worship Janus. Go ahead.
Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer.
Then shall you call upon the Lord, man. When you get licked down with the coronavirus, then you're going to call upon the Lord, man. And the Lord ain't going to answer. The Lord's going to be like, you wouldn't have had that coronavirus if you wasn't in that New Year's party, man. You wouldn't have had that coronavirus if you wasn't at that Christmas meal. You're going to call upon the Lord, and the Lord ain't going to answer you. It's just how it goes, man. Like the Lord ain't someone you can use. You can't just do whatever you want, and then when you want something, you just call him. Listen, man, the Lord ain't like these Christian men that you see today, where a woman can do what? Ignore all their calls, ignore all their texts, but phone them when they want some money, and this man says, okay, I'll give you some money. Or the Lord ain't like these Christian men, that's what these women can ignore. Oh yeah, but when she's got a punctured tire, she phones him and he comes and changes it. The Lord ain't like that, man. Get me? The Lord's a man like, yo, you got a punctured tire. All right, you better sort that yourself. You better sort that yourself, man. That's how it goes. You can't just try and use the Lord for what you want to use him for. It don't work like that, man. The Lord's a man of war, man, and he ain't none of these Christian men that jumps at the drop of a hat for someone that does nothing for him, for someone that can't even obey him. You're going to be out there on your own stock praying to the Lord, and he ain't going to answer. Go ahead.
But they shall not find me.
But what?
But they shall not find me.
Listen, I suggest you seek the Lord while he can be found, man. I suggest you do that. That's what a wise person would do. But if you're not wise, you wouldn't understand that. Go ahead.
For that they hated knowledge and did not fear the Lord.
They did what?
They did not fear the Lord.
They hated knowledge, man, and did not choose the fear of the Lord, man. They chose other things. Instead of choosing the fear of the Lord, they chose Christmas, Easter, New Year's party. And now something that they're afraid of, now they're crying out to the Lord. The Lord will laugh at their mockery, man. The Lord will mock them and laugh at their fear. Go ahead.
They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproofs.
And you despise all the Lord's reproof.
Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way.
Listen, man. You're gonna reap what you sow, man. That's saying everything that you're doing, man. You're gonna eat of the fruit of your own hands. Everything that you've been doing, it's gonna come back to haunt you one day, man. You're gonna regret doing it. Go ahead. Like all the drugs people smoke in their youth, it affects them one day, man. You see all them drugs you smoked. One day in life, it affects you. You're minding your business. You start to feel weak. You go to your doctors. You're just thinking this something minor, and the doctor says, "Oh yeah, you got cancer. Yeah, stage 2 or stage 3." Listen, man, you're gonna pray to the Lord, man, and the Lord ain't gonna hear you. Why? Because when the knowledge of the Lord was there, and the Lord stretched out his hand and was saying, "Don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke." Guess what? You should forget that. I'm gonna smoke this spliff. Oh, I need. It helps me sleep. It helps me. All of this nonsense. It helps me sleep. It helps me sleep. Listen, man. Come in the I.S.U.P.K. Listen, if you're having trouble sleeping, you come in the I.S.U.P.K. and we will put you to work. And any chance you get to sleep, you will sleep, man. The reason you can't sleep is because you lazy and you're in bed all day, man. You come in here and you will get some work that when you do sit down in a chair, you fall asleep straight away, man. You don't need weed to help you sleep. You don't need drugs to help you sleep. Just come in here and get some righteous work. And when it's time for you to sleep, you will sleep, man. You know them long days after them London camps. What happens? We come back and listen, we go to sleep, man. We come back, we go to sleep. We have a brother fall asleep in the car, everything, man. Why? Because we out doing the work of the Lord, man. You come in here, do some work, and guess what? None of them brothers needed what? Weed to help them sleep. Didn't need no edibles to help them sleep. Come do the work of the Lord, man. And listen, even in the scriptures, man, the disciples that was doing the work of Christ, when Christ went to pray, man, they kept falling asleep.
That's right.
They was doing some work, man. Even Christ slept, man. Remember when Christ was on the boat? When Christ was in the ship, man. Even he slept when what scriptures when Peter got scared that and so forth. When Christ had to wake up and calm the waters, man. Even Christ slept, man. Why? Because he was doing the work of the Lord. And wherever you can get a kipping, you get a kipping, man. You don't need weed to help you sleep. That's a myth. That's some nonsense. That's some excuse of being too weak to not. That's an excuse of being too weak. You know drugs is wrong, but you need an excuse to keep taking them. Well, it is. I can't sleep at night, and this helps me sleep. You're an addict, man. If drugs helps you sleep at night, you're an addict, man. And then you're gonna go to the doctor, and he's gonna give you that stage 3 cancer diagnosis or stage 4, and you're gonna cry your eyes out and say, "Lord, please heal me, and I'll stop smoking." And the Lord is not gonna be found, and he's gonna laugh at your fear and mock you while you're crying, saying, "Lord, please heal me. I want to listen." You're gonna say, "Lord, please heal me. I want to live to see my kids grow up." The same kids where 5 years before you said, you think I'm gonna listen to God and not get my kids Christmas presents? Listen, man, now you're crying to the same God saying, "Please let me live so I can see my kids grow up." He's gonna laugh at you. He's gonna laugh at you, man, and he's not gonna be found. And it makes sense, man. Go ahead.
Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices.
And there you go. That's what we just was saying, man. You're going to do what you're doing and be filled with your own devices, man. It's going to come right back to haunt you. Go ahead.
For the turning away of the simple shall slay them.
That's it on that. And basically, man, that's what's going to happen to you. But drop that. Give me Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 12.
Isaiah 1 and 12. When ye come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, to tread my courts. Bring no more vain oblations.
Listen, man. We've been bringing the Lord vain oblations for too long, man. Like an oblation is what? Something which is offered to God. That's what an oblation means. Something which is offered to God. Listen, man. You're offering God these New Year's prayers and you don't want them, man. You're offering God these Christmas prayers and you don't want them, man. You're coming to the Lord with vain oblations, man. The Lord don't want them. Listen, man. We need to stop it, man. You're coming to the Lord with all these vain oblations and all these great ideas. With all these so-called great ideas. Have you noticed every time people's like, "Oh, it's Christmas, so I want to do something for the poor." What about every other day, man? So you mean to say you're only going to feed the poor on Christmas Day once a year? How does that help anybody, man? How about you be like the I.S.U.P.K that feed the poor every day, man? How about you be like us that feed the poor every day? You're feeling generous on one day. Okay, then. let's say let's say you feed this one man on Christmas Day, and then he has to wait another 365 years for you to feed him again. He's going to be dead in that time, man. Listen, everything you're doing is nonsense. Feeding him on that on one day. How about you come in the I.S.U.P.K and we feed the poor every single day? We ain't going to see a poor black man and say to him, "You can only get a meal on Christmas." How does that help him, man? Which lets you know, man. Even the thought of it makes no sense. So you mean to say every other day you don't care about the homeless, you don't care about the poor, but because it's Christmas, you give them a blanket. Because it's Christmas, you give them a hot chocolate just because it's Christmas. Every other day, they have to be out there freezing to death. It makes no sense, man. There's no logic in it. It's one of the dumbest things ever. One of the dumbest things. Every year, people do it. Oh yeah, we're giving out food to the homeless for Christmas. So what? They're not homeless every other day of the year. They don't need clothes every other day of the year. It makes no sense, man. Go ahead.
Incense is an abomination unto me. The Ne'uns and the Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies.
Listen, man, the Lord hates your feast days, man. The Lord hates your feast days, man. The Lord wants you to keep his, but you want to keep yours, which is Easter, Christmas, New Year's. The Lord said, listen, man, he hates them. Go ahead.
I cannot away with it is iniquity, even the solemn meetings.
Listen, man, the Lord said it's iniquity, even the solemn meetings, man, which is like what? Your formal meetings, solemn's another word for what? Formal or dignified or whatever. The Lord said, away with all of that, man. The Lord don't want none of that. You're bringing the Lord stuff that he don't want, stuff that he ain't asked for. The Lord didn't ask you to what? Pray to him for Christmas. The Lord didn't ask you to what? Pray to him to bless you on New Year's. The Lord ain't told you to do that. You're bringing these things to the Lord, and the Lord hates it, man. And he's letting you know that right here. Go ahead.
Your new moons and your appointed feast, my soul hateth.
Listen, the Lord hates Christmas, man. The Lord hates Easter. The Lord hates New Year's. The Lord hates all these white man's holidays that you're celebrating, man. The Lord hates them. All these things that you're celebrating is attached to idols and false gods, man. And the Lord's telling you he hates them. If you didn't know the Lord hated Christmas, there you go. He said he hates it. He hates your appointed feast days. Why is it your appointed feast days? Because he ain't gave you them, man. The Lord's appointed feast days, you find them in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. New Year's ain't in there. Birthdays ain't in there. Easter's not in there. Christmas ain't in there. The Lord hates them, man, and is letting you know that right here. Go ahead.
They are a trouble unto me.
The Lord said they're a trouble unto him, man. The Lord gets mad when he sees all this nonsense. Go ahead.
I am weary to bear them.
Listen, man. That's letting you know, man. The Lord's damn pissed off with all this stuff. All this Christmas, this New Year's. Why do you think there's a next strain of coronavirus in the UK, man? They said this one is spreading quicker than the first one. And then now, we in tier 4. Manchester's in tier 4. Who else is in tier 4?
Quite a lot of places. Leicester's in tier 4. Cumbria
in tier 4
is in
well.
tier 4. Derby, Nottingham. Quite a lot of places.
And being in tier 4 means what? You can't leave your city. So you can't leave your city. And then the next one's tier 5. And also another thing as well. All these lunatics on the internet saying, "Oh, don't take the COVID vaccine, don't take the COVID vaccine." The thing is this: Boris Johnson, that rules over the UK. Did you know that Boris Johnson checks in with the medical scientists? The scientist is the one who tell Boris, "You need to shut down the country because it's going to spread like this." That what's his name? What's the scientist's name? There's some scientists where the scientists they tell Boris. Like when Boris has a council, it's not Boris's decision. He gets all the medics, he gets the scientists, and they tell him about the vaccine, and they tell him you need to lock down. They said top scientist. The top scientist suggested, in order to save the country or whatnot, everyone needs to go into a lockdown and so forth. So Boris, who runs this country, he don't even make them decisions. He checks in with scientists and medics and so forth. And you mean to tell me I must listen to a black man that sits on his couch all day trying to tell me I shouldn't take the vaccine. Go ahead.
Okay. And as well, what's in the vaccine?
Yeah, exactly. I must listen to a black man that sits on his dusty couch all day, does nothing, ain't no scientist, barely went to school, barely got half a GCSE, not one, half a GCSE, and I must listen to him about what's in the vaccine. I must listen to him about, there's no liquid in the vaccine, it's just air, it's photoshopped. I should listen to him. It's photoshopped. That's what they say. I mean, I should listen to him. How does it make no sense? How does it make sense? I'd rather listen to the medic who's gone to medical school. Now, if you're going to listen to that man that's just sitting on the couch with an opinion and an internet connection, let him perform open heart surgery on you. Now, if there's a proper doctor, a heart surgeon, who are you going to let give you the heart surgery? This heart surgeon or this man that just sits on the couch smoking weed with an opinion that's going to say to you, I think I should open your chest up like this. He's going to end up killing you, man. You listening to him, he's going to end up killing you, man. Listen to the medics, man, the professionals. You can't listen to someone that just sits on the couch all day with no, who ain't done no research, with no credentials. It don't make no sense, man. It's like taking your car to a man that ain't a mechanic, man. It's like taking your car to a random man and he's just gonna say, yeah, I think. Listen, man. Listen to the medics and the professionals instead of listening to some lunatic that just sits on Facebook all day with an internet connection, a keyboard, and an opinion, man. Go ahead.
And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you.
I will what?
I will hide mine eyes from you.
Listen, man. When you spread forth your hands to pray like that, the Lord turns around, man, turns his back. He don't look, man. He ain't part of it, man. He will hide his eyes from you, man. He ain't watching over you. He don't care about none of that, man. He hides his eyes from you. He don't want to see that. You're thinking I'm praising God. You're thinking I'm doing good by God, getting my kids Christmas gifts. Listen, man, the Lord hides his eyes from you. Go ahead.
When ye make any prayers.
When you what?
When ye make many prayers.
And you make many prayers. Oh, Lord, thank you for giving us another Christmas. Thank you. You all hold hands around the table. Thank you for bringing us together, Lord. Listen, man, the Lord don't hear you when you make many prayers, man. The Lord don't hear you, man. You say, Lord, thank you for making me see her next year. The Lord don't hear you. Lord, thank you for making me see her next year on my birthday. The Lord don't hear you, man. Go ahead.
I will not hear.
The Lord said what?
I will not hear.
That grace that they say, the Lord said what?
I will not hear.
Listen, you prayed in vain because the Lord didn't hear it, man. You wasted your time. The Lord didn't hear it. Go ahead.
Your hands are full of blood.
Your hands are full of blood, man. You think you're doing good by the Lord, but your hands are full of blood, man. You ain't doing good by the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Wash you, make you clean.
You want to change? This is what you do if you want to change, man. What do you do if you want to change?
Wash you, make you clean.
It says, wash you, make you clean. Listen, some lunatics use this to say this is talking about water baptism. It's going to explain what it's talking about, man. This is going to explain how you wash yourself and how you make yourself clean. Go ahead.
It is to put away the evil of your doings.
How do you wash yourself?
Put away the evil of your doings.
How do you get that blood off your hands it was talking about in the previous chapter? Go ahead.
Away the evil of your doings.
You have to put away the evil of your doings, man. Put away New Year's, Christmas, Easter, birthdays. Put all that nonsense away, man. That's how you put away the evil of your doings. Go ahead.
From before mine eyes.
Go ahead.
Cease to do evil.
That don't sound like just jumping in the river to me. I didn't get jumping in the river from that. It says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings, man. Meaning what you're doing, stop doing it. That's how you make yourself clean. Go ahead.
Learn to do well.
Do what?
Learn to do well.
Learn to do well. How do you do well? By not celebrating Christmas, by not celebrating New Year's, by not doing a countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, then all screaming, woo. Listen, man, you get nothing for it, man. You're just going to be the same slave January 1st. It don't make no difference. Go ahead.
Seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow.
That's what we're supposed to do, man.
Come now and let us reason together, saith the
Come
Lord.
now and let us reason together. Go ahead.
Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be like crimson, they shall be as wool.
Listen, man, the Lord's reasoning with you, man. The Lord's saying, come, do this. And all that stuff you've done, man, I'll forget about it. I'll give you a fresh start. You're talking about new year, new me. Listen, man, though it's red like crimson, you want to be a new you. You just come and do well and do good and so forth, and it'll be white as snow, man. That's how you be a new person. Don't let some white man's holiday, new year, new me. You want to be new. You read this precept and become new, man. That's how you become new. Go ahead.
If ye be willing.
If you be what?
If ye be willing.
That's the thing, man. You want a new. Okay, I understand you want a new year, new you. Why don't you just come and serve the Lord and be a truly new you, man? And be willing. Go ahead.
And obedient.
And what?
Obedient.
And obedient, man. It ain't hard. Be be willing and obedient. Go ahead.
Ye shall eat the good of the land.
Ye shall eat the good of the land, man. At this rate, we ain't gonna eat no good of no land. We just gonna be slaves in England for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years. Why? Because we don't want to be obedient and we don't want to do what the Lord says. Anyone that is that about it?
Yeah. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword.
That's more deaths for us. That's more death for black and Hispanics. Because we want to rebel. Why do you think we die so much? Because we rebel. Whereas we can have it good, but we want to rebel, so we can't have it good. So we're going to be devoured with the sword. Go ahead.
For the mouth of the Lord have spoken it.
Listen, man, what the Lord says comes to pass. So this is why we die so much, man. Drop that. Give me Acts chapter 17 and verse 16.
Acts 17 and 16. Now, verse 16. Now, while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city were only given to idolatry.
And he's in the city, man, full of idolatry. At this time, Paul's where? Paul's in Athens, but Paul's in the truth. And if you know anything about Athens, full of idol worship, man. Full of idol worship. Everybody worshipped idols. All this Greek mythology and all this nonsense. And Paul sinned that, man. At this time, Paul's in the truth, so Paul's a bit fired up like, damn. And he's seen his brothers in it too. It's like us when we see our brothers into all this Islam and Christianity. Go ahead.
Therefore disputed he in the synagogues with the Jews and with the devout persons.
And it says, therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and with the devout persons. So he disputed with them, man. He's going back and forth with them because they're trying to push what they believe. He's teaching them the truth. He's going back and forth with them, man. Go ahead.
And in the market daily with them that met with him.
Listen, man, what Paul's doing is what we do with you, man. We be going back and forth disputing with you every day, man, about Christmas, Easter, New Year's, all of that nonsense. We be disputing with you, man, left, right, and center. Go ahead.
Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans.
Oh, an Epicurean is basically a student of some Greek mythology nonsense. That's what Epicurean is. some student of Greek mythology. Paul's dealing with them kind of people, man. Philosophers of the Epicureans. That's what they are, just philosophers who just talk nonsense, man. That's what Paul was coming up against. Go ahead.
And of the Stoics encountered him.
And the Stoics is what those people that like believe in the universe. They believe in like those people that believe this is happening because of the universe. Yeah. Some nonsense. I can't remember what they say. Oh, it's the universe. Like, say for instance, if you're on the phone to abroad and the convo's not going too good and the phone cuts out, she'll be like, that's the universe saying we shouldn't be together. You heard that nonsense. Yeah. It's the universe saying we shouldn't be together. I was in your city, but you didn't pick up the phone. Oh, that's the universe saying maybe we shouldn't have met up that day. Oh, that's the universe saying this. Oh, that's what I start, them kind of people. And it's crazy, you know why? Because those kind of people exist today, but you just don't call them that today. It's all those people, the universe is those people that you're one of them Stoics. If you do that thing, what is it? The 11-11, that 11-11 nonsense, whatever. There, what the hell does that even mean? They tell you it means what is it now? That's some positivity or some good energy. They do it. So what will happen is they'll wait for 11-11 on their clock and the screenshot it like, and then they post it, and then that means some good energy from the universe. And plenty of people do that today and they don't even know. And the funny thing is this, Christians do it also, which lets you know Christians believe in a million different things. All of those things is Greek mythology, man. If you're doing all this 11-11, oh, the universe, the stars is aligning. If you're doing all of that, you're just like one of these people that Paul was dealing with right here, man. Go ahead.
Encountered him, and some said, what will this babbler say? And
they had the cheek to call Paul a babbler when they're the ones that's into all of this 11-11 stuff. And it's funny, you know how you know these people is us? Because what? The same thing that we have to deal with, the same thing. They're doing all this wild stuff, and they're the ones calling us names till this day, man. Go ahead.
Babylon say, other some, he seemed to be a setter forth of strange gods. And some of them said they seem to be a setter forth of strange gods. Now, what Paul's teaching, they're calling it strange. Why? Because they ain't heard it before. When we teach the truth, you call it strange. Why? Because you ain't heard it before, man. Christ only died for black people. That's something you ain't heard before, man. That's right.
The real Jews are black. That's something you ain't heard before. We gonna rule this earth. That's something you ain't heard before. We God's chosen people. That's something you ain't heard before. The same thing Paul was teaching these brothers who was following Greek mythology is the same thing that we teaching you in 2020 who's following Christianity, man. We teaching you the same thing he was teaching them. Go ahead.
Because he preached unto them YAHANNA and the resurrection.
They didn't understand this, man. They didn't understand that that when you die, you come back and whatnot. They didn't understand the resurrection, reincarnation, etc. They didn't understand that. Greek mythology is what? You die and you become like what? Some star in the sky. Become some star in this, all of this kind of nonsense. And that's where Christians get it from. Oh yeah, he's in heaven now. Oh my. Someone dies, they say, oh, don't worry, grandma watch over me. Listen, man, your grandma didn't watch over you when she was here, man. So why is she gonna watch over you? Let's just be realistic, man. They didn't watch over you when they was here. And listen, they ain't in heaven watching over you now. It's, all of that is some nonsense. All Greek mythology and Christianity that you die and float off to heaven, and you're just looking down on people like that for the whole time. What you're seeing is the Lion King, man. You're seeing the Lion King, Mufasa's in heaven, and he's looking down on Simba, saying, obey my son. He's like, what do they say? How do they say again? Hey, he's like, father. Yeah, that's what you're seeing the Lion King, man. It's not real life, man. Honestly, it's not real life. That's the Lion King. Go ahead.
Verse 19, and they took him and brought him onto Areopagus.
Oh, that was a meeting place in Athens. It was like a rock. They brought him there, some meeting place in Athens. That's where that is. Go ahead.
Saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is.
And they wanted to know what. Yeah, so what is it you're teaching? Because they ain't heard it before, man. They didn't hear the truth before. So Paul's they're asking Paul, what's this new doctrine you come with? Like people ask us, what's this you come with? Listen, the way they said, may we know what this new doctrine is. Listen, the police have said that to us many a times, man. May we know what you are teaching, man, because they ain't never heard it before. No one's never heard what we've been teaching before. So they lose their mind and they don't understand it. Same like with Paul right here. Go ahead.
For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears.
And listen, man, everything we say to people outside of here is strange. You can't celebrate Christmas. To them, that's strange. Because they've been taught that's Christ's birthday, man. You can't celebrate Easter. They to them, that's strange. You can't celebrate your birthday. To them, that's strange. Everything we say, we bring in strange things to their ears, man. Go ahead.
We would know therefore what these things mean, for all Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else, but either to settle or to hear something new.
And this is Speaker's Corner right here, man. This is Speaker's Corner right here, where what? Everybody that thinks they got a bit of knowledge does what? Goes to it, spends their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear something new. That's Speaker's Corner, man. Everybody goes there just to tell something or hear something new. Like everybody that the thing is this. I'm telling you, go Speaker's Corner. 1 year a man will be a Rastafarian, and next year the same man's a Muslim now, and the next year he's a Christian. They just go there and change their religion like clothes. They just change their religion like clothes in Speaker's Corner, and it's just nonsense. Go ahead.
Then Sir Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious.
And I said, it said, perceiving all things that ye are too superstitious. And that's black people, man, superstitious. Can't walk on free curbs. Oh, it's bad luck. Can't walk between the road signs. Oh, it's bad luck. All them road signs do is show you where you are, man. All it says in the top and there is your location. Or left will take you here. Left will take you there. Right will take you there. That's all it says, man. But you see the phone thing there and you walk around it like that. You're too superstitious, man. And guess what? We ain't knocking you. Why? Because one time we was all superstitious like that. We wouldn't remember when people you wouldn't step on a crack in the pavement. Listen, man, you're superstitious. The reason there's cracks in the pavement is because you live in the ghetto and the white man don't care about the ghetto and he ain't gonna fix it. That's all it is. Step on it all you like. It's not gonna give you bad luck, man. You break a mirror, it's not gonna give you bad luck. If you're scared to break a mirror, thinking it's gonna give you bad luck, you come here and I'll break a mirror for you, man. Proving to you we ain't scared of none of that garbage, man. We only fear the Lord, man. You think I'm scared scared of breaking a mirror? Listen, I'll break 1,000,000 mirrors, man, to show you that you shouldn't be afraid of it. I'll break the mirror for you, man. Listen, I'm willing to get this 7 years bad luck for you. I'm willing to get it for you. I'll break the mirror, man. Why? Because we know that it's just superstition and it's nonsense and it's not true. You ain't gonna get 7 years bad luck for breaking the mirror, man. But your luck is gonna be bad if you disobey God. That's what I do know. You don't fear the Lord, your luck is gonna be bad. That's what I do know. But as for breaking the mirror, so you mean to tell me you could serve God and you accidentally drop a mirror? Now you're gonna get bad. Don't make no. Listen, man. You accident. Listen, you move in the house and me and Captain Parash is holding the mirror. It slips out of his hand, and who gets the bad luck? Both of us, or just the listen, man. And we both serve God every day, but this mirror slipped out our hand because it was a little heavy. Now we got 7 years bad. Listen, man, it's so superstitious and it's so dumb and whatnot. And you need to come in here to understand how dumb these things are. Like these things we will tell you about and we will break it down for you so you can see how dumb it is. So you can see you don't need to fear these silly little things and whatnot. And with that, we're up on the time. We'll continue next week. Got the security announcements on that side of this.
All right, let's give Officer Dungabar a hand. Excellent class, first and foremost.
days.
Right, we are the I.S.U.P.K. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After these 6 months, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:10 means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'ashara, 10% of any increase you receive from the Lord gives the Treasury Department. Priest money, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation is Purim in February
26th and 27th.
On February the 20th, from February the 26th. All Akim Aqua.
That's lucky, and that one is so. That one's a 2-day feast. So there's an opening and a closing. So the opening is February 26th. The closing is February 27th. So it's a 2-day feast. So yeah, that's that one.
Right. All Akim and Aqua, check the bulletin board in the hallway, and to check all I.S.U.P.K social media. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves. And with that, we're going to give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Imanium, Barak, Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, Barak Atah,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Barak Atah,
Yad Yamatah, class dismissed.